We now know that the FA have announced that Ivan Toney, Brentford striker, has been charged with over 232 alleged breaches of betting rules between February 2017 and January 2021. He admitted he was assisting the FA with its investigation into the alleged historic breaking of gambling rules. And the charges relate to his time at Peterborough United as well as Brentford. Simon, if he's found guilty, and I know we need to choose our words carefully, what impact could this have for Toney's career and Brentford's season?
I would imagine if he's found guilty, it will fall into the same sort of territory of Kieran Trippier and the consequences that he had to face for his behaviour.
He was banned for 10 weeks in December 2020.
There we are. And there is the precedent. Now, whether there's a set of mitigating circumstances or some sort of differentiation between the nature of the circumstances. You know, Kieran Trippier was telling his mates to lump on a move that he was involved in. There might be a different set of parameters around whatever Ivan Toney's done. It may be arm's length betting, but irrespective of it, players know the rules. So they are architects of their own downfall. The question could abound. Did this influence the decision to take him to Qatar? I think it would perhaps have been a consideration. It had to have been in the picture. The tragedy of all this, insofar as there is a tragedy, because if you've got to own your behaviour. If you do something bloody stupid, then you're going to have the consequences like we all have in life. This has taken 7 months, and probably the FA didn't put a lot of priority to it, and it actually became a problem because Toney suddenly became a consideration for the England team in around about September, and all of a sudden, oh, wow, hang on a second, we've got this ongoing investigation that we haven't paid a lot of attention to. We're doing it, as we meander along, and all of a sudden, bang, 7 months. You'd like to think that in 7 months they could have come to a conclusion, gained and garnered the information, put it through the prism of evaluating what it was, and decide what the outcome was. But of course, it became a bigger problem, and I suspect it became a bigger problem for everybody. Once Toney got himself into a situation where he was included in the England squad, it might have been beyond the wit of man, or should have been beyond the wit of man, to think that maybe he'd have been in that situation. But all of those things together, probably, despite the protestation of Gareth Southgate. Now, I know that there are situations where people are, we've got to be, in this world, we've got to be innocent until found guilty.
Sure.
I would imagine there was enough burden of proof to suggest that they've got a decent amount of reason for charging him, otherwise they wouldn't bring the charge against him. And I would imagine after 7 months, a charge must have some underlying depth of information to make it worthwhile bringing a charge. But all of that to the point of where it sits now, it's jeopardy for Brentford. They're going to be visited by the sins of the father on them as the sort of pseudo son, which they won't want because he's their talisman. And it probably impacted, despite Southgate's view that it wouldn't have done. Other sports. What happened to Ben Stokes when he was in a situation where he had allegations made against him? He was going through a situation. Did he step out of the England situation or not? I can't remember. But I think that more often than not, what happens when you're in this sort of situation is kind of accepted that someone's taken out of commission.
You fade into the background. I think that's what happened with Stokes at that time.
You're taken out of commission.
You disappear for a while. I mean, Brentford, for their part in it, they're saying the club has been in discussion with Ivan and his legal representatives about this matter, and those conversations will continue privately. We will make no further comment until the matter has been completed. Brentford at the moment, 10th. Now we've got this World Cup break. Should we think, is a sensible logic here that they'll have to sign a striker in January, no matter what?
Well, possibly, because he's so important to them. But the bottom line is that you would hope that there's some sort of mitigation. But I would have thought, but this is football sometimes, the moment this reared its ugly head 7 months ago, that Brentford would have been all over it themselves, ensuring that the kid had legal representation to make sure that everything was done in a timely fashion, because they must have known that there was going to be a consequence for them at some point, given the precedent's been set. I would imagine the same circumstances will befall him if he's found guilty, and we of course have to say if he's found guilty.
He is, yeah.
I mean, there's a hell of a lot of bets being made, but then we've seen Joey Barton have the same situation. They know what their obligations are. They know they can't bet on sports. They know it. It's not, they have to be living under a rock not to know it. And they do know it. They just do as they please.
And at this stage, Simon, as you rightly say...
And I hope he hasn't.
Innocent until proven guilty. At this stage, how much damage has been done to his career? He's 26. He was going places.
Well, no more than's been done to Kieran Trippier's.
Yeah, and he's in Qatar about to play in the World Cup.
I mean, ultimately, it's stupidity. It's a combination, if indeed he has done what he's being accused of, is a combination of ignorance meets arrogance meets stupidity, because you don't need to do it. You're not a pauper. You're not on the breadline. You don't need to do this sort of stuff. You might do it for fun, but you have plenty of other things to do with fun in a sport that prohibits you from betting on sport.
Yeah.
You know it. And if you don't know it, then I don't know why you wouldn't know it. The bottom line is Ivan Toney comes across as a very nice, well-presented young man. Put together.
Yeah.
But, these are the rules. And is it a victimless crime? Is it? The betting companies might have a different view on it, but there's a reason. There is a reason why sportsmen are not allowed to bet on sport. And I have to be honest, I was surprised that Kieran Trippier got away with only 10 weeks. Because that kind of thing, from a betting company point of view, which are huge sponsors of sport, whether you like it or you don't, is almost tantamount to some form of fraud.
Okay, well, we are at Thursday, November the 17th. Ivan Toney has until Thursday, November the 24th to provide a response. And we'll watch for that. It's 10:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.